What's going on? What's going on, people? My name is Aswand Cruickshank. I am your one and only Move Swiftly speaker, not your motivational speaker, but your Move Swiftly speaker. And we're back for another edition of Move Swiftly Convo, coffee and conversation. Very special episode today, because today is my older sister's birthday, June 9th, 2022. And, you know, I've really been struggling with this one because I knew going in that I was going to talk about my older sister. And, you know, she and I grew up really, really close, like really, really close. She basically was everything, you know, everything. And, you know, when it comes to giving tributes and talking about her, it's a real struggle to figure out which story to tell, what specific thing I should talk about to not make it so long, because I mean we were together through it all, man. We've seen it all, like seen a lot of shit growing up, good, bad memories, so many things that my sister and I have witnessed. I mean, to this day, I'm always getting complimented. There's so many women that I've been able to collaborate with. There's so many women that I've been able to work with that I make the joke all the time that I've friend zoned myself with so many different women. And I have my sister to thank for that. I have my sister to thank for my ability to have empathy, my ability to meet women and respect women and, you know, get to know them in a professional way, or, you know, if it goes to the romantic way, I know how to be patient, and I have all of that to thank. I mean, obviously my mother, who I speak about a lot, but my sister, like my mother would, you know how it is, like my mother says something, it's almost like a job, you know. My mother was like the corporate person that sets the rules, and my sister was the one that allowed me to follow the rules, allowed me to see it in action, allowed me to kind of witness these things and see someone grow up. We were 5 years apart, so, you know, she was in high school when I was still in middle school. She'd take me to some of the middle school games. You know, I witnessed my first high school football and basketball game because of my sister. There was actually a time when she was in high school. And I'm playing youth league football. You know, that's my thing for the White Oak Warriors, and that was the thing. In fact, you know what? I'll just tell a couple stories here. This is to illustrate how tight my sister was, and this kind of standard that she set when it comes to paying attention, and when it comes to the type of woman that I need to be looking for, the kind of woman that I need to be even considering bringing into my world. All right, we had a game. There was a game against the Montgomery Village Chiefs. Back then, before the White Oak Warriors became the White Oak Warriors, we were the Briggs Cheney White Oak Warriors, and we played in the Capital Beltway League, and it was more of a local league. It wasn't as, you know what, let's do this. Let's get the lighting better. You guys can see me pretty well, yeah. Actually, yeah, let's do this. Oh, 1 second. Let's do that. Right, it was more of a local league, right? The Briggs Cheney White Oak Warriors. And we would play something called a county championship. And the 2 years prior, before I won my first ever Capital Beltway League county championship, right? We lost 2 years in a row. We lost in that same game 2 years in a row. One, we lost to Montgomery Village, and the other one we lost to Olney. And I remember the first one that I ever won. The first county championship that I ever won. And I played linebacker. So playing linebacker, especially at that youth league space, is not a very glamorous position. You know, not a lot of people realize the things that us linebackers do when it comes to making tackles, when it comes to, you know, taking on blocks, when it comes to dropping back in coverage and doing all the little things that your typical fan won't understand. So anyway, we played that game. We obviously won. It's my first game, my first county championship that we won. We beat Montgomery Village. We got over the hump. There was so much excitement in it, especially in my home. And, I get off, I get off the field, and I see my sister for the first time. And you know what she tells me? She goes, "Hey, yeah, I saw you made the first 3 tackles." It was little things like that she did throughout my life, and I'm so proud of the woman that she's become. I'm so proud of my niece and my nephew, and the woman, the young man and the young woman that she's raising. She's doing just a hell of a job, and there's so many stories. In fact, it wasn't even a matter of there was another time because here's another story. Again, this particular episode might get long-winded on you, because I could sit here and think of story after story after story after story when it comes to my sister. And one thing I do want you to take away as a listener is, if you are listening to this and you have a sibling or someone that's like a brother to you, or someone that just looks up to you in general, and that person happens to be a different gender, the opposite gender of you, make sure you take it just as seriously. Because what my sister has done throughout the years is she's made it so, like I mentioned a little bit earlier, excuse me, let's get a sip here. She's made it so I'm able to extend myself. I'm able to, again, I don't know, well, if this is your first time ever meeting me, I am the only man in my job. I'm the only man at all. And I have been surrounded like 8 hours a day around women and children. It's one thing if you're surrounded by women. Sometimes that could be actually, fun. But when you're surrounded 8 hours a day by women and children that are crying, I mean, there's times where sometimes it's the women crying at work, and then there's other times where it's the kids crying. And it's just like, as a man, there's that. In fact, just yesterday, one of the dads, for those who don't know, I'm a teacher at a learning center, and one of the dads came and picked up his son, and as he's walking out, he sees me with like 10 different 3-year-olds trying to watch 10 different 3-year-olds. he walks out and he goes, Jesus, dude, I don't know how you do it, man. I don't know how you do it. And, again, every time I get comments my response to him was, I don't know either. I don't know how it is I'm able to survive in this line of work. And, as soon as he walked out, the first person I thought about was my sister. The first thing, her first job actually was, she was a daycare counselor at the elementary school in which I went to. So it's just like I'm Mr. right now. She's Miss Fashina. And when she was in high school, the kids would see her out, and, she would be the one. And, I met all the kids. Well, it was interesting because I was at that age. I was at that elementary school. I attended the elementary school in which she was a daycare counselor at. So, and it's just stuff like that. I wasn't born, and I didn't plan to meet my sister. And, I didn't plan for her to do such an incredible job and do all the great things and, teach me so many things. But anyway, I got distracted. In regards to her attending my football games, I do have to tell this story because it kind of gives some balance to it. And it was actually after a loss. And, I get home that night, and she had enough respect for my feelings to know, hey, I probably shouldn't say this to him right away. But we lost the game, and it was a close game. And then she comes up. She gave it, in fact, it wasn't even that night. She gave it probably a day or two. And when she came up to me, she goes, I thought about during halftime of that game going in and giving you guys a speech from Little Giants. Like, Sissy, man. That's what I call it. I didn't call it Fashina. I called her Sissy, and I was like, too soon, man, too soon, but man, there's so many things I could tell you, and there's so many little gems, little pieces of advice that I can sit here and talk about. But the main thing, the biggest takeaway, the most important thing that you can grab from, this is officially episode 3 of Move Swiftly, the Move Swiftly series, Coffee and Conversation. I think I'm going to stick with that name. If you've been listening in, I've been kind of playing with the names, but the way that rolls off the tongue is really nice. Move Swiftly series, Coffee and Conversation, because like I told you guys on the last episode, we're starving. We are all starving for that face-to-face dialogue. Really, really starving for it. And that's what I'm trying to provide. I'm just trying to serve my shareholders, I'm calling you shareholders now because I'm speaking it into existence. I'm making sure I'm using the right language. Eventually, everything I do, I'm pushing towards having that kind of a public company a company that goes public. And, I have shareholders, I have customers, whatever you want to call them, clients, however you want to deal with them. But I'm going to start calling them shareholders now because I'm a believer of actually speaking certain things into existence. So that's why I use the word shareholders. All right. And that's the way a lot of you guys need to be thinking. Start manifesting the things you want. Start saying the things you want. Because nowadays, again, like I told you, I started alluding to it last week. I started sort of alluding to the negative aspects of social media last week, or not last week, but the last time I did one of these series. Is now we have the ability to get in touch with whoever we want. We have the ability to speak to whoever we want. So take advantage. Social media, for my thought leaders of the world, my fellow thought leaders of the world, is supposed to be about making sure we're putting information out there and getting in touch with the right people, not to be scrolling all day and seeing how everyone's doing. Now, don't get me wrong. If you see a post that you may like, or you see a friend of yours that's doing some great things, it's not a problem with liking it. But for the most part, we got to be producing and publishing content and making sure our presence is felt every single day. Our presence is felt as fellow thought leaders if you're really trying to get into this world. And it's a world that's tough. It's an industry that's incredibly tough. All right. So I'll start to wrap this video up. And like I said, a lot of it is about the relationship I had growing up with my sister because today is her birthday. It's her day. I'll send you a copy of this. I'll just send you a copy of the full recorded. Hope you have an incredible day. Happy birthday, Sissy. I love you. I love you. I love you more than you will ever know. I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. You've taught me so much. I mean, the amount of bullshit that I've heard I'm 33 years old, and the amount of bullshit that I've heard from women throughout my 33 years of life. If I did not have my older sister, I would have blown my fucking brains out. I'll just be honest with you. If I didn't have the lessons, like there was a time, I'll close with this story. I will close with this story. And I don't think she's going to get mad for me telling this, but there had a time where this is when she was in college, where she had a friend who did something pretty foul with a guy that she was seeing. Like, I don't know the details of it. I don't even want to get into the details of it because she might take it. She might not like the fact that I'm putting shit out there like this. But anyway, I'm just going to tell you what I got from it because it's a very important lesson, especially for you, Judah, and you, Jada, for you guys to learn. Okay. Apparently she had a friend that, they went out and I guess the girl's top came off while she was in the car, something like that. But the next, again, I don't know the details. I don't even want to get into that because that's not even the point of the story. The next morning, I remember my sister being on the phone, just like was arguing with someone all morning, just sort of explaining their night. And, back in those days, I was playing video games and talking ball. I really didn't pay attention to all that drama. I ain't got time for that bullshit. All right, I really didn't care. This was when I was in high school and I was playing at Good Counsel High School, so it was like a serious thing. But anyway, my sister finally gets off the phone and I go to the kitchen to get something to eat, and then she gives me one of her motivational speeches. She goes, "Look, Ozzy," that was my nickname back then. She goes, "Ozzy, look." Girls are very vindictive. Girls are very shady. Girls are very classless. Girls, they only look out for themselves. They're very shady. I mean, and she just goes in and starts giving me gem after gem after gem after gem. Because you got to think, she was so fired up on the phone over whatever happened the night before, and she just felt the need to give me like all types of game. And, if you could sort of imagine me, going and getting my food, I'm going to get, some lunch or whatever, getting out the fridge, and I'm just like, okay, not knowing how much that particular moment was going to dictate and help me in my adult life and the way I handle and deal with women now. So again, these are things that I'm probably 100% sure that she's forgotten at this point, and I'm going to make sure that, I'm going to do my part to make it so my niece and nephew hear these stories, so that way we can grow and we can build and we can continue to grow as a family. So again, Sissy, love you. Happy, have an incredible birthday. Don't lift a finger, just do your thing. Stop working so much, just kind of take the day off and relax. To all you other listeners out there, thank you for listening. As always, my name is Aswand Cruickshank. I am your Move Swiftly speaker. You continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon. Oh yeah, whoa, before, and I always forget to do this. If you want to dive deeper into my world, go now, right after, as soon as this video is ending, and go subscribe to the Move Swiftly podcast. That's where I put two shows out every single week. It's all about teamwork. We teach you how to work as a team. That's my thing, all right? The Move Swiftly podcast, available on all streams, all right? Continue to move swiftly. We will talk more soon.